So like many people understand the advancements in HMI as the process of like transforming the car into a supercomputer kind of smartphone. Is there more to it than that from like a customer perspective than just an extension of a smartphone? Very wide question, I know.
There's the saying in the industry, the future car is a smartphone on wheels. My belief is it will be better than a smartphone on wheels. It will be better than a smartphone. The smartphone will be a car without wheels in the future. And this is because we have this super high quality approach in the automotive industry, which is something the app industry, the smartphone industry, the consumer electronics industry is not having on that level. I mean, beyond cars, there's only medical devices and aviation devices. Yeah, so we have this super high level. And this is why I believe that what we do in the automotive industry will reflect back into the smartphone industry. From a consumer point of view, of course, all these smartphone interaction paradigms, all these swipings and tappings and long presses, this interaction with glass surfaces, this is known, this is very well established, and they want to transfer this into a car.
Yeah.
And of course, this has some kind of sexiness to have this. First of all, to have this external consistency. Something in my car works exactly like on my smartphone. And on the other hand, it's a very direct approach. I touch something, I press something, I tap on something, and then it works in a way, then it does something.
Yeah.
I don't have an additional interface. I don't have an additional translator in between, like a rotary push device or some hard key buttons or whatever. The big downturn on this, and this is again another reason why I believe that this smartphone metaphor is not a right one, is that driving is different than interacting with a smartphone.
Yeah.
So at the moment, today, and in the foreseeable future, the driver will be responsible for everything that goes on with the car. And this basically means keep your eyes on the road and keep your hands on the wheel.
Yes.
To drill it down to one sentence, and this is what we have even if we go up to level 2 automation. The driver is still responsible. We still need to have full control over what's going on. And full control over what's going on means that we need to have a full situational awareness, which is a psychological concept from aviation psychology. But it basically means who is where, who is doing what, and what's going to happen next.
Yes.
And for this, you need to be constantly in the control loop. And if then you have a glass surface in a car, you will be highly distracted from that because you do not have any haptic feedback. You cannot do anything with your fingertips. You cannot do anything blindly. You always need a visual feedback loop if you work with a touchscreen.
Yes.
And this is the big differentiator or the big difference between cars and smartphones. And this is why I love, and I'm still having a car with a haptic interaction device.
Yeah.
And I'm driving this car, and all the other cars had a similar thing in it since almost 20 years. And I got through all the different generations of that particular device, and I can use it blindly. Yeah, I know the upper right button is the map, and the upper middle button is the main screen, and the upper left button is whatever. So I know that. And I know 3 clicks right, and then pressing brings me here and there, and I can keep my eyes on the road.
Yeah.
And still be at least up to a certain level in the control loop, although I'm interacting with my infotainment system.
Do you think most people would do that? I mean, I think that there's some research that comes out. I don't have it in front of me, so I couldn't tell you, but it just seems like maybe we should back off of just the touch screens because people seem to like those physical buttons more. You know?
And I see some car companies already going away from these huge glass surfaces. And my belief is that the, let's say, traditional OEMs, the established ones, the big ones we know today, they will step back from the full glass to a compromise. There is a sweet spot somewhere. I mean, no doubt, there are absolute advantages of touchscreens and all the flexibility you have. If you have, you can select your skins. We will have artificial intelligence in future cars, so we will adapt the HMI to personal preferences, to contexts of use, and we will all have all this. And to realize this dynamic appearance and this dynamic approach, we will need touchscreens.
Yeah.
But we will also need all these haptic devices. And for me, the traditional car makers, they are realizing at the moment, oops, maybe we have gone a little too far.
Too much.
Yeah, a bit too much. And the new ones, the startups, particularly from China, they will go the glass way. I mean, if you have a look at these all new cars from China, I mean, the dashboards are 100% glass and everything is interactive and everything does something. And first of all, it's a cultural difference.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah,
definitely. There is one. There's a huge difference in that. And I think there is a learning curve. There will be a learning curve amongst these new guys on the block as well.